Hi Nick, thank you for your in-class essay on illness in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. First things first, the title. I like that you did try to make it more specific, and that is pretty good. But I think instead of the how illness was used in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, I would either write illness in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or illness as blank, whatever you say it is in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The other big thing is that when you write a novel's title, it should be italicized every time you write it. So right here in the first sentence too, you have it in the same font as the other. So always be sure to italicize it. In your second sentence in that introduction, you get a little too informal. All essays are supposed to be formal and less conversational. I do like that I hear your voice, but I don't like that I feel like I'm talking to you when I'm supposed to be reading an analytical essay. So you write, a lot of people think that he just happened to get sick at that moment, but I have a different idea. And I appreciate that, and that is process. But instead of writing that, I would honestly, X that out and just say what the idea is. Always get right to the point with your argument. Your three pieces of evidence are not actually complete sentences all the way through. I would find a way to include all three of these supporting evidences in one sentence or two sentences while making them mean more, because at the end, I like the ideas themselves, but I don't like how they're presented. And at the end, I'm still in the so what camp. I'm like, why does any of this matter? You say Victor often slips in and out of near fatal illnesses, which is a way for him to escape the horrors that are happening to him in real life. So what? Why is that important? And the answer to that so what should be your next sentence and might actually be more of your thesis. You don't need a comma here. That's misusing the comma. I would just take that out. It would just read the very first time Victor became ill was when he brought Clerval back to his accommodations. And actually, because you're supposed to be writing in the literary present tense, it would read more like Victor first becomes ill when he brings Clerval back to his accommodations. So you can hear that. And then further down here, you have in one sentence sort of three different tenses. You have struck, look, and will make. So you have a little bit of passive here, present, and past, and you always want to be in the present. So when the illness finally strikes, though, it does not look like Victor does not make it. You just say what happens and then say the so what. So I have tense issues here because that's what they are. And in a sentence like this, just above that, you wouldn't say this is evidence that. You would just say the illness may have started a while before the creature came to life, or something similar. You really need to do some work with your paragraphs in general. So here I have the note topic sentence and also all summary. Every paragraph should have a topic sentence that sort of forthrightly proclaims what that whole paragraph is going to be about. And each paragraph should contain a single idea and develop that idea. And all of those ideas in line, that structure, should help to advance your thesis, whatever that thesis is, which also means that they have to flow. And the way to make them flow is through the transition sentences. I wrote that on your last paper too, but you really need to keep that in mind. The first, last sentences are the most important things. It gives us a guide for the reading of your essay. One of the sort of issues I had with your essay while reading is that it all felt like summary. I knew all these things. You said Victor begins a long voyage home that very night. Okay, why does that matter? Why does it matter that you're telling me that detail? That's something that I know. And so it's not something I need you to tell me unless you're telling me that it's important for some other reason. And here you say he was sitting on by the jagged top. That seems to just be an error in proofreading. Always be sure to proofread, because gross errors, so errors that can be easily fixed, are more distracting than, even large errors. You have another tense issue happening here. They are traveling through England when Victor went off on his own. You'll say as they travel through England, Victor goes off on his own to create a female for the creature. Remember, always keep it in present. And then at the end here, I'm wondering, just as I was wondering before, why is this important? Make it mean. Make that analysis happen. And things get kind of interesting here. You say a not so nice lady, but you know, you're at the stage where I need you to use your words. I need you to use vocabulary that describes that. What does it mean to be a nice, not so nice lady? What's a more sort of elegant way to say that? Think about those things as you read through. And that's also another instance where things feel more conversational than they need to be. Here with the summary, I'm still like, so what? I get that you're telling a story and I see that it relates, but I don't understand how you're analyzing it. And your conclusion is just a little too general. Here you have, he was apologizing though. He was apologizing for all the crimes he had committed. This one can just go. That's too repetitive. And there are ways of saying things. I get the effect that you were trying to have, like the shorter sentence and then the emphasis, but for analytical essays, you want to just cut out anything that's vague or anything that lacks meat. Every sentence counts. I don't get a sense of how this line concludes your argument. The line that says Victor did not live to tell the entire story himself, but supposedly neither did the creature. How does that conclude anything you've written? How do we get from where you start to where you end? And how do you guide us in between? And it all feels a little scattered. Lots of potential, but still scattered here. I am very grateful for your work, and you did work hard on this. I know you did, and you always work hard. The structure was lacking. Your grammar, with all the tense issues, does suffer sort of grade-wise. And the content was fine. You could have pushed it. You did not analyze the way you needed to or the way I asked you to. And I think you analyzed more in your first essay than you did in this one. For this essay, you earn a B-. Thank you so much for your hard work. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Don't hesitate to let me know. All right, thank you, Nick.